Guys, it is MATV here, back with another video, and today we are going to be reading an r/entitled parents Reddit post. I don't have any money to pay for the candy my kid touched. What are you gonna do about it? You know what that means. So I've recently been super into this Reddit and blah blah blah. When I was 18, I moved out of my mom's, more like kicked out, but that's another story. I moved in with a friend and her family. I didn't want to be a bother, so literally the next day I went to the mall and snagged myself a job at a candy store. Now this candy store was small and only needed to be managed by one person at a time. We had security, always walking around, plus we were near a large department store, so there was always people around. Now one of the rules of the candy store was to not let any of the kids put their hands in the bins. Obvious, I know, but parents would always send their kids in alone with like $1 or would be in the store but let them run around trying to touch the candy with their dirty hands. Now the store is small, which is good since I can clearly see from my side of the register if someone's sticking their hands in the bins or trying to pocket candy. Also, the candy in the bins didn't have wrapping on them, so you touch, you buy. We had clear signs of this rule up in the store. So on Saturday, it's super busy, and this family comes in and are legit getting pounds of candy. Parents were focused on what they wanted, but they weren't paying attention to their kids. And the little girl, I would say 9 years old, sees the bin with giant jawbreakers we carry. We charge by weight, so they weren't cheap. She ignores the tongs next to the bins and opens the tong. Clear sign me what she wanted to do. I tell her to stop, but she looks at me and grabs the jawbreaker. I give up and say, "Okay, sweetie, but you aren't supposed to touch the candy with your hands. Now for sure you have to bite it." She notices her mistake and she realizes her mistake and then notices this was a solid $10 jawbreaker. She says she doesn't want it anymore, and I tell her she has to now since she touched it. Hearing this, the mom runs up to the register and gets in my face. "She doesn't have to buy anything if she doesn't want to." I stay calm and explain I can't sell any candy that has been touched by hands. It just ends up getting thrown away. "Would you want to buy candy a stranger touched?" "No." So she gets real huffy with me and says, "Well, I'm only going to pay for the jawbreaker and nothing else." And drops about 3 pounds of candy on the table. I tell her that's fine, but in my mind I knew I wouldn't be able to sell any of that candy either since it was all mixed up, for allergy reasons. So I tell her, okay, it will be $10 for the jawbreaker. She pretends to go through her purse and gets smug with me and says she doesn't have any money, which is an obvious lie. Why are you in a candy store getting crazy amounts of candy for you and your family if you have no money? So I'll calmly look at her and say, well, if you won't pay for it, then you're stealing from me and I will call mall security and see what they say. That definitely changed her tune. She dug through her purse again, magically pulls out an envelope full of 20s and hands me a $20 bill. Since it was a small store, I didn't have a lot of change in the register. So I ended up giving her a bunch of ones back. She got all mad at me and grabbed the money and stormed out of the store with her family. I like thinking back on this because if she would have refused to pay, then she would have gotten kicked out of the mall for not paying for candy, which is just stupid. Also, she might have thought that she won something by not paying for all the other candy she and her family gathered up. But later, when I told my manager about it, he didn't care because that kind of crap always happens in the store anyways, and asked me if I wanted the candy since he couldn't sell anymore. So I got free candy out of it in the end. That's kind of sucks, actually. So, yeah. If you have entitled people, then I guess if you meet any entitled people, act like they did about it. This next one we're going to be doing is entitled mother attempts to kick me out of a shop for being vaccinated. So for a little bit of backstory, I'm not too sure if this applies in other countries. In Australia, we had to get vaccinated in school, especially in our year level for a disease. I don't remember which. I ended up being sick the day we were supposed to get vaccinated. My mom isn't an anti-vaxxer. I was just sick on the day. I did end up getting my vaccines. Cast, EM, entitled mother, C, cashier, and me. A few days after I got my vaccination, my family went out to a shopping mall. was allowed to look around for a little bit by myself, so I decided to go to EB Games, which is basically an Aussie GameStop. A little while later, my dad comes in and drops my little brother off, says I had to keep him with me, that sort of stuff. He was going to get lunch with Mum, and he was sitting far away. So he says goodbye and jokingly punches me in the shoulder right where I got my vaccination. This was as a joke. My dad doesn't abuse me, okay? This hurt. As my arms were still sore from the vaccines. I said, "Ow, Dad, that's where I got my vaccines." He apologizes and wanders off. It's quite a small shop, so I let my little brother go back and look at Minecraft stuff. Not even a minute after Dad leaves, a tall woman who looked in her 30s approaches me. Excuse me, little boy. Hey, what's up? I couldn't help but head you got vaccination. Yeah? I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I don't want to get infected, and I certainly don't want my little boys present to getting infected. Sorry, ma'am. I'm not going to leave. Vaccines keep me from diseases. They don't give me disease. If you do believe this, then we could just keep a distance between us. Entitled mother, clearly getting frustrated now. No, you have diseases in you, and for the sake of the public, I'm going to need you to leave and quarantine yourself. Final warning. This lady clearly didn't work here. She wasn't even wearing an EB Games shirt. Lady, you don't work here. I'm not leaving because my parents want to keep me alive and present diseases. I'm staying in this shop for as long as I want. Don't disrespect me. You have to leave. I'm not getting infected by a 10-year-old boy. Get away! She screeched all of this. Halfway through screaming, she realized people didn't care, so she raised her voice a little louder, trying to get people on her side. Well, firstly, I'm 15, not 10. Secondly, you're not going to die because I got vaccinated. Calm your farm. Now get out of my way. The entitled mother opened her mouth to talk again. Before she could say anything, the cashier comes to check out what's happening. Cashier, is there a problem? He's infecting your son. He has vaccines in him. Get him out! I was just minding my business, and this lady comes and starts yelling at me. You can even check the security footage if you wanted. No need. I heard everything. Ma'am, if you raise your voice again, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Before the cashier can turn and go take care of the massive line, the entitled mother screeches again. This is a violation of human rights. You have to kick him out now. All right, Roman, enough is enough. Get out of my shop and don't come back. But, no buts. I don't care how long you've been in here or why you're here. Get out. The entitled mother reluctantly storms out of the shop, whispering something about the government, and I finish my shopping and go about my day as usual. The fact that there are people in the world like this makes me want to facepalm so hard my face falls off. So, major rips for this guy. This happened. So, we're just gonna see if I can find a short one. Maybe, I don't think so. So anyways, thanks for watching this first episode of Reddit Post. This was r/entitledparents. Go join it if you enjoyed. They have some really funny stuff in it. And other than that, if you want, you could send me some Discord stuff at Darker Place. And thank you and have a good day.